The Viking Age, a time of raw ambition, brutal conflict, and a relentless quest for glory. From the fjords of Scandinavia, countless legendary figures emerged. A few command respect, like Bjorn Ironside. Known in Old Norse as Bjorn Ironside, he was a warrior whose name echoed across the known world. Historical sources from Francia place a chieftain matching his description firmly in the 9th century, raiding between 855 and 858 CE. But the story we know today is a rich tapestry, woven from fragmented historical reports and epic Scandinavian sagas written centuries later. In these later tales, he becomes the notorious son of the semi-mythical Ragnar Lothbrok and a legendary king of Sweden. Before the sagas immortalized him as Ironside, there was Berno. This was a powerful Viking chieftain and naval commander, mentioned in contemporary Frankish chronicles. In the summer of 855 CE, Berno first appears, joining forces with another Viking named Sigtrygg. Together, they sailed their longships up the Great Seine River, raiding deep into Frankish territory. Though they were initially defeated by the forces of King Charles the Bald, the victory was short-lived. Berno received reinforcements and couldn't be driven from the area. The Vikings established a major strategic base on the island of Oisel, near modern-day Rouen. From this island stronghold, Berno launched an assault that plundered Paris around the new year of 856 to 857. Berno's actions reveal that Viking leaders were more than just brute warriors. They were shrewd political players. In a surprising move in 858, Berno sought out King Charles the Bald at his palace in Burberry. There, Berno performed a formal act of commendation, placing his hands in the king and swearing an oath of fidelity. This allegiance was almost certainly secured by a hefty payment of Danegeld, a tribute meant to buy peace. But this political arrangement was fragile. Later that same year, Charles decided to deal with the unruly Seine Vikings by force and laid siege to their fortress at Oisel. The siege was a spectacular failure. The Vikings defended their stronghold fiercely, and Charles was forced to abandon the attack when his own brother, Louis the German, invaded his lands. After this failed siege, the name Berno disappears from contemporary Frankish records. But his name would soon be attached to an undertaking far grander than raiding Francia. Bjorn Ironside's true legendary status was forged in the Mediterranean Sea. Between 859 and 861 CE, he co-led a massive Viking raid that ranks among the most ambitious expeditions of the entire Viking Age. Partnering with the formidable chieftain Hastein, Bjorn commanded a fleet of around 62 longships. They sailed down the Atlantic coast, raided the Iberian Peninsula, and punched through the Strait of Gibraltar, proving that no sea was beyond their reach. The Vikings continued eastward, pillaging the coast of North Africa and raiding cities in Sicily before eventually landing in Italy. And here, we find one of the most famous tales associated with Bjorn, the raid on the town of Luna. The Vikings mistakenly believed this town was the fabled city of Rome itself. Finding Luna's walls impenetrable, the chief, often identified as Hastein in early accounts, devised a cunning plan. He sent messengers claiming to be deathly ill, begging for a Christian baptism and burial inside the city's consecrated ground. Once his coffin was carried inside the church, the Viking leader supposedly leapt out, fully armed. He killed the officiating bishop, hacked his way to the city gates, and threw them open for his waiting army to pour in. While historians see this dramatic tale as more legend than fact, it perfectly captures the cunning that Bjorn became famous for. The return journey, however, was a disaster. The fleet was battered by a violent storm, losing 40 ships. Near the Straits of Gibraltar, the remaining ships were ambushed by an Andalusian fleet using advanced fire catapults. Only about 20 vessels made it back. Despite these immense losses, the voyage proved that Viking ambition knew no limits. The historical chieftain Berno was transformed into the legendary hero Bjorn Ironside by later Scandinavian traditions. especially the sagas written in the 13th and 14th centuries. These narratives firmly establish him as the son of Ragnar Lothbrok and the powerful sorceress Aslaug. His famous brothers in these tales include Ivar the Boneless, Vitsur, and Sigurd Snake in the Eye. It is in these sagas that he earns his famous nickname, Bjorn Ironside. According to one chronicle, Bjorn gained this name because of the strength of his sides, which were like iron, after he inflicted great slaughter without suffering a single injury. Weapons supposedly just bounced off him, a sign of his near superhuman resilience, perhaps a gift from his mother's divine bloodline. The sagas focus heavily on the revenge campaign organized by Bjorn and his brothers after Ragnar was captured and killed by King Gla of Northumbria. While their first assault on England failed, the brothers eventually defeated Gla through cunning strategy, led by Ivar the Boneless. They captured the king and, in a brutal act of vengeance, allegedly performed the infamous Blood Eagle ritual on him. After years of raiding across England, Normandy, and France, Bjorn and his brothers returned to Scandinavia to divide their new empire. Bjorn Ironside was granted the lands around Uppsala and all of Sweden, establishing himself as a powerful king. He is traditionally credited as the founder of the Swedish Munch dynasty, a royal line said to have ruled for nearly 200 years. The legend of Bjorn is even anchored in physical history. On the island of Munch in Sweden, there is an impressive burial mound known as Bjorn Ironside H. This mound has been traditionally linked to Bjorn Ironside since the 18th century, though no inscription definitively proves who is buried within. Bjorn Ironside's influence extends far beyond the 9th century. He symbolizes the intrepid spirit of the Viking Age, a spirit of expansion, strategic warfare, and complex diplomacy. The exact circumstances of his death are unclear. Unlike many Viking heroes who sought a glorious death in battle, some accounts suggest he died peacefully in his own kingdom, having outlived his enemies and secured his legacy. Today, the line between the historical Bernu, who fought Charles the Bald, and the legendary Bjorn Ironside, son of Ragnar and founder of a royal house, is constantly debated. Modern adaptations, like the hit TV series Vikings, have cemented the heroic version of Bjorn in popular culture, even while taking creative liberties with his story. Bjorn Ironside remains a powerful testament to how history and myth can merge. A real warlord whose verifiable achievements were so vast that later generations elevated him into a king, a destined ancestor, and a permanent symbol of Viking ambition and conquest. His name will forever echo across the Seine, the Mediterranean, and the sagas of the North. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more journeys into history.